Hi everyone, welcome to another LeadSquared webinar. This is the second webinar from the BFSI series. So those of you who've been getting our emails know this, that it's BFSI week at LeadSquared, and this is the second webinar in the series. Yesterday we talked about banking, today we'll be talking about lending, and tomorrow we'll be talking about insurance. You're free to join that as well. Those of you who are joining us for the first time, a very warm welcome to you. We do industry specific sessions, sessions on just sales pipelines or marketing lead generation sessions about every other week actually. So do tune in once in a while to listen to what we have to say. Coming back to the topic today, it's all about lending, transforming lending, how to ensure a paperless and contactless lending process. So some of the things that we'll cover in the session today are, of course, executing these processes seamlessly across website, apps, call centers, offline teams, uh, automating repetitive tasks, managing remote workforces, tracking communication, empowering your team. We will talk about deep integrations as well, and of course, operating on multiple channels such as desktop and mobile. So today we have two speakers who are actually taking sessions for LeadSquared for the first time. Very warm welcome to you too. We have
Thank you,
Sridhar
Shivani.
Sampath.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Shivani.
Thanks, Akshay. Glad to have you both here. So, Sridhar is the Vice President, Partnerships and Key Account Management at LeadSquared, and Akshay is a Lead Business Analyst, Professional Services Consulting. All right, so Sridhar, Akshay, if you guys could just take a minute and share a few lines about yourselves, please.
All right. Thank you, Shivani. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be hosting my first webinar here at LeadSquared. And I think while the times are certainly strange, I don't think there could have been a better time for the topic chosen today. To quickly introduce myself, I've been working for about 15, 16 years now. A large part of my career I've spent in different industries. I've sold power equipment, I've sold medical equipment, I've sold financial services, I've also sold industrial software, and now I'm looking at CRM. So with all of this background, currently at LeadSquared, I look at primarily two things: setting up the partnership ecosystem for LeadSquared, and also managing certain key accounts at LeadSquared from a business perspective. That's about me. Akshay, you want to take up?
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everyone, and hope you're doing good in times in the lockdown times. And just to introduce myself, I've been working with LeadSquare for about a year now, and I have a 10 years of experience working across various verticals, so catering to real estate, to logistics, and now currently working with LeadSquare. So that is all from my end.
All right.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yes, Sridhar, do continue now with the presentation.
All right. Thank you, Shibani. So once again, good afternoon, everyone. Let's get down to talk about why we are here today. Well, as all of you understand, and I'm sure all of you are very well aware that these are really strange times where the whole world is going through a very strange and new scenario for all of us, right? All businesses have to think of new ways of trying to continue doing business in these times. Now, obviously, lending and financial services as a sector is absolutely critical and is the backbone of any modern economy today. And it is very essential that the financial services space bounces back once once the lockdown ends and once situations return to somewhat normal. It's very important that the financial services sector bounces back and is able to execute the digital transformation that will make the sector ready for conducting business in the future. So we have a few points that we've put together over the next 40 minutes. We're going to talk to you about how LeadSquared views the financial services sector and how it's going to how this current situation is going to impact execution over the next few months. As I'd mentioned, sorry, just one second. So what we believe at LeadSquared is that while currently there would be a lot of muted demand in the industry, we anticipate that once the lockdown ends, there would be a sudden spike in demand. There would certainly be a huge demand for lending coming up because of obviously a lot of stress in small and medium sector industries, and also from a personal perspective, there would be a lot of stress individuals. So what's going to happen is in a few months, there's going to be a huge demand that comes the lending industry's way. And at that point in time, only a smooth and frictionless execution process will be able to help a lending organization to actually select the right people to lend to and to make sure that you're not spending too much time chasing customers who you might not want to actually lend to at the end of the day. So selection of customers, processing these customers, selecting leads, all of this becomes very critical in 2 to 3 months from now once demand picks up again. If you look at a traditional lending process, what you see is there are a lot of disparate systems with a lot of manual interventions which are required. Of course, you have a typical loan application process probably begins with the organization reaching out to customers through various social media, PPC apps, emails, or websites. So while organizations use modern tools to reach out to customers, at the back end, you might not necessarily have a cohesive information portal where all of this information flows in. You would have various manual interventions. For example, in the application process, you might not have a link to call center. You might not have people who call up your prospect and ask them to guide them through a process of filling in the application form. Once an application is completed, there is huge dependency on maybe certain manual interventions and a huge question mark around what are the reasons to reject or what are the reasons to accept, what kind of systems you need to integrate with. Basically, too many processes and too many manual interventions required in the whole ecosystem. Oh God, sorry, please excuse me for this. Yeah. So the paper count is too high in such a process, and the physical meetings that are required to execute this process are also too many. What we intend to do at LeadSquared, of course, is take this loan application process, and we are able to slot into each of these decision points, each of these inflection points within this process where there is a decision to be made. We can automate that decision. We can replace multiple systems or independent point solutions with LeadSquared as a single solution, which runs a thread right from the day you reach out to a lead, from the first day right up till the end, where you might actually finish the leads verification and disperse the money, and then in the future go ahead and possibly sell them certain new solutions as well. And therefore, what we are able to do with this is obviously reduce the paper count and the physical meetings to zero. So what do we mean by trying to reduce what do we mean by a digital lending process, right? First and foremost is a paperless loan application and approval process. Right from the first stage of a lead reaching out to an organization to the application itself, to processing the application, to whatever integrations might be required at the back end, all of this is something that LeadSquared enables to be done digitally and online. You have completely connected teams and processes. There is no intervention required. Nobody needs to send an email or make a call to remind somebody of what needs to be done. LeadSquared has wonderful workflow management systems at the back end. It has wonderful automations at the back end, which will make processes that you design run very smoothly and run without any manual interventions. And of course, the ability to design processes in LeadSquared is something that is one of our key USPs. It is something that stands apart. It's very dynamic. It's very agile. You can experiment with processes every quarter. You can change processes as you might want to. You don't need to have a huge technology team at the back end to do these things. And it keeps the organization constantly striving to improve its processes. It helps them do that, and it helps them to experiment and keep executing. And thirdly, I think in the whole KYC process that has been integral part of all financial services, as per the latest RBI guidelines, financial services organizations are allowed to use a video KYC as well in place of the in-person verification. Now, this has huge impact for the entire industry. What it means is digital KYC or e-KYC was something that was already being done, wherein you could take the documents from your customer, maybe have a soft copy scanned, validate them at the back end, but you still needed to do an in-person verification, right? Where somebody had to go, you had to set up an appointment, somebody has to go physically meet the person, verify the documents, etc. With video KYC now being approved by the RBI, you do not need to do this anymore. And LeadSquared has integrated with a couple of partners who we are working with. We have integrated a video KYC process also into our system, which thereby enables you to completely remove any physical interaction, which I think in these times over the next 2, 3, 6 months is going to be extremely critical. You can completely remove any physical interaction in your entire loan dispersal process. Starting from inquiry up to dispersal, you don't need for anybody to meet the customer. How we do this is something that we will go through now going forward. Fine. So what we've done is we've broken down the structure of this presentation. Is we've broken down the loan journey of a prospective customer into 5 stages. Obviously, one of them is the first stage where you actually capture the lead or capture the information of the prospect. Now, this is a guy who's worried about paying his bills, and he's looking to raise some funds and looking to organizations who would lend him money. And typically, how would he go about trying to identify organizations who he might borrow from? He'd probably visit your website or look at some social media ads that you might be running. There could be some other PPC ads that you run. There could be certain emails and lists that you either have, or you are already sending out emails to certain lists of individuals you might have met at certain events or webinars. Or he could just be calling you, with a TV ad that he's seen or a print ad that he's seen, and there's a telephone number that you've posted there, and he's just going to call you and check whether you'd lend money to him or not, right? Now, what happens with LeadSquared? LeadSquared can integrate with all of these lead acquisition channels that you might be using. You can execute some of these advertisements and some of these outreach programs through LeadSquared, or you can integrate, for example, your website can be integrated with LeadSquared so that anybody who comes onto your channel, actually all the information that is collected flows down to LeadSquared, making LeadSquared the single source of truth for your organization. It becomes the one repository for all leads in the organization, and therefore it ensures that there is absolutely zero lead leakage. That's the aim here, right? You do not want to potentially lose a lead who could have become a customer, and you lose out on the entire lifetime value of the customer because you were not able to capture the lead well, or because your automation failed or something happened and you lost the lead. That is something that you want to cut. This is something that is controllable, and you would like to cut that out. And that's what LeadSquared offers. It offers the ability to have a single source of truth for your organization. Once all this data is obviously collected in a single place, what you can do also then is have certain lead source analytics. What this means is you can identify the different sources of leads that are available in your organization, and you can actually analyze which are the leads that have actually been working well for you and what has been not working well for you. Because what you would want to do is make sure that you're investing in the right areas. You do not want to be investing in a channel which is not giving you the returns that you'd expect. And all this lead source analytics is something that you can do very easily at the click of a button in LeadSquared. Obviously, there is an application process, which is used to collect the lead information. I will now hand it over to Akshay to talk about a little bit about how our application forms work and how this process works as well. Akshay?
All right, thank you. I'll take it over from here. So basically, the typical applications that used to come to any lending companies from customers was a tedious process of filling up an offline application form, which was obviously on a paper format. And there were much possibilities that since this is a tedious form, people might tend to not completed. The records might be placed somewhere and might also get lost in the due course. So a verified lead or a valuable lead will definitely get lost in this process of manual intervention. But however, in LeadSquared, what we can do is we can design a user-friendly application form for you, which will take user through and a step-by-step form and will give him a very smooth experience in terms of user interface, and will also have verified leads. So basically, when the customer fills in his basic details, he will have to verify his number via an OTP, giving you the first hint that the customer is not only interested, but he is also a verified customer. Now, apart from that, whenever a customer will fill in the relevant details, he will be doing it himself. So here we can also build in a DIY journey for you, that is do it yourself. So these days, most of the companies are expecting their customers to come online, fill in the form themselves, and submit all the documents online by themselves. So this is the kind of technology that we are giving at LeadSquared, so that you also can build your own DIY journey for your organization. Apart from that, there are certain instances when there is a low internet connectivity and the customer gets dropped off. For example, the customer filled in his basic details, verified his phone number. He went to the next tab. He filled in his organizational details and went to the third tab wherein he had to upload some documents. In this step, what happens is sometimes due to low internet connectivity or for any other reasons that customer did not want to continue and dropped off from that particular point, then our multi-tab form helps the customer to start off from where he left off. Okay, so he did not fill in the form altogether again. He can start off from the third tab, and he can complete his application form. Apart from this, we also have automated backend processing. By this we mean that once an application is received, he can check his status himself, and by default there are some engines that will run in the background to check his CIBIL, his bank statement, and get an automated accept and a reject for that particular application. So this is about the slide. We can move to the Sridhar. We can move to the next slide. Okay, so our next offering is also a customer portal. So this point is in obviously in continuation with the previous point that I was explaining you all. So here he gets a complete holistic view of his account and the applications that he has filled in. Say for example, David is aged 30 from an ABC organization, and he has some applications that he has filled. That he can have multiple applications, like he must have filled in a car loan application. Apart from car loan, he also wants a home loan, for example. So he gets his entire view of all the applications that he have made, what are the applications that are in complete or rejected state, and he can also resume his application from there on. He may also upload his documents on his own, so there is no manual follow-up or a call center, dedicatedly call center team required to follow up with the customer. The customer himself can go over there and upload the remaining documents and check if those documents are properly verified or not. So this is a kind of customer portal that we have in LeadSquared, which can be a lot of help to a lot of lending companies out there. Sridhar, over to you.
Thanks, Akshay. Yeah, so I mean, it would be great if all customers did what they were supposed to do without any pokes from us, right? That would be fantastic. But that's not how life works, and therefore you need lead management, which brings us to the next topic of how do you, once all these leads have been captured by your system, whether it is through an application process or through any other portal or through any other online offline mean, how do you distribute these leads within your organization, within your sales team? How do you engage with these leads, and how do you track what this lead is up to, right? Because these are things that you need to do to ensure you're able to push these leads down the sales funnel faster and convert them to a customer quickly. So like we said, we've discussed the multiple options that your prospect has to get his data into your systems. What do we do once we collect the lead information, right? The basic information like an email or phone number. What can we do once that is done? We can start tracking the activity in LeadSquared of the leads. For example, on your website, we can start tracking if a particular lead has visited your website, is spending time, let's say, on a home loan section or a car loan section. We can actually have alerts and notifications set up so that if a particular lead is interested in a particular area of your website or particular deal that you might be offering or a particular ad that you might have run, you would immediately get a notification so that somebody from your sales team can actually reach out and talk to that person and figure out if the need is immediate, it is genuine, or the person was just surfing. Obviously, as we are doing this tracking, what we can also do is, since the application form, if it is on the LeadSquared system as well, we can obviously create a fantastic funnel of all the application forms that are out there. You might have 10,000 people applying, of which only 5,000 might have actually gone beyond the first tab. Maybe 2,000 people have completed the form, along with all the uploads that are required. And maybe there's the other 3,000 who are sitting there with the forms half filled. So what do you do with these people, right? So that's where the distribution mechanism of LeadSquared as well comes in. We have a very strong lead distribution engine which runs at the back end. It can be configured to solve multiple problems, multiple logics, which we will get to in a minute. So what you can do is you can actually, if the application form has not been completed, or for any other trigger that you might decide, you could either send an SMS or an email to the lead to figure out what's going on with them and why they're not completing the process. Or you could also ask somebody from your call center, reach out and speak to this person and understand what his problem might be. why are we doing all of this, right? You're doing all of this because you have a sales funnel, and what everybody wants to be doing is pushing leads down that funnel faster. You want to change your leads to prospects, you want to change your prospects to customers, and you want to make sure that your sales velocity keeps increasing. Right now, you have to do all this. While you're doing all this, how we can help you with is we make sure that there is certain engagement-based lead scoring available on in your system, which means you are able to prioritize the leads better. You will obviously decide as an organization what your weightages could be or what your scoring pattern is. LeadSquared can execute that pattern very easily on our systems, and you can then decide how you want to score these leads. We can provide sales teams with very actionable insights and make sure that your lead moves faster through this funnel. And as of this sheet, we are still at a 0 paper count and a 0 physical meeting count. So when I was talking about lead distribution, what did I mean by the intelligent lead distribution that we have, right? So you can run multiple distribution logics in your system. You could have leads or documents or a process which includes your salespeople, your risk people, your underwriters, your fraud control units. Any particular lead can pass through multiple logics. You can have logics based on leads getting assigned to people on geography, on product, on experience, even on performance. You might want to assign your best leads to your best performers so that your overall conversion factors go up, right? So leads can be assigned based on any logic that you might want to do it on, and LeadSquared can easily accommodate such advanced logics of distribution as well. While we do this, we also have a very strong call center management ability. You can integrate your call center processes to the entire application processing. As I was saying, you have multiple people in the application in various stages of the application, and you might want to engage them at the right time. That's where we can have callbacks. We can actually execute a callback within, let's say, 120 seconds of somebody doing something on your website. We can ensure that the person gets a callback within 90 to 120 seconds as well. We also integrate with most popular dialers out there. We also have a universal telephony connector available, which kind of makes it easy for you. If you are running a call center, it doesn't matter what kind of technology you're using. LeadSquared is able to fit into that ecosystem. Akshay, you want to take the bit on dynamic forms for the call center agents, please?
Yes, definitely. Okay. All right. So once all of the mechanism to run the logics to distribute the leads between the call center agents and the salespeople is done, finally the lead gets assigned to an agent. Okay. Now once the lead is assigned, the call center agent or the sales executive has to go through the lead and check his exact requirement. So here basically again we have forms and processes wherein you have to fill in tedious forms to complete an application. So what we have done is to solve the problems of these users, we are giving out user-friendly dynamic forms. What I mean by user-friendly dynamic forms is a user has to fill in the application on behalf of the customer, but he will not have to run through the tedious process of filling in forms that will take a long while. The forms would be clutter free and will be only displayed on certain areas where they actually need to be done. And the forms will also have only necessary fields without showing unwanted fields. So say for example, if a user is filling in a car loan application form, then he will only have relevant fields to that application. So this is how we design a simplified user forms for teams so that they can process the applications faster and process it faster to pass it to the other team members. Okay.
Wow, so you're saying there's contextual forms for the sales team and the call center agents. That's fantastic, man.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. So just to add one more point to that previous slide is, say for example, there is a team of people who only handle car loans, or there's a team of people who only handle home loans or personal loans. Then we can also segregate it team wise and show only those forms and processes which they are relevant to. So if for example a person who belongs to a home loan department will not see or cannot fill in a car loan application, So that all processes also can be very well defined and can be executed in LeadSquared. Okay, moving into the next slide. Once these forms are filled in, then what next? So as a sales manager, you can always define what is the exact flow that you want for your organization. What we mean over here is, once a step A has been taken, you can always define the step B and the step C, so that a call center executive or a sales guy is not distracted by other means, and he does not do tasks that are not of priority. So for example, if you have 5 tasks to be done in priority, and you can define the severity of those tasks and then align those tasks accordingly, so that once an application is filled in, the sales user can only do the tasks in that particular fashion, in that particular priority. So that is how you can recommend the next best task for your teams using this process.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
Shri,
this
that's
is
it.
it's a very important point, Akshay, because only when you regiment your sales processes, only when you ensure that your sales team across maybe multiple geographies or multiple product lines maintain a similar process, can you run any meaningful analytics or big data analytics that you might want to do, or any algorithms that you might want to build. These can be built only when you have a standardized process in place, right? So without sales
Absolutely.
process regimentation, you can say bye bye to all that big data analytics that you want to do. So this is a very important part of the sales process that LeadSquared helps you execute as well. Right.
Absolutely.
I will jump in here quickly
Sure,
because a
Shivani.
couple of relevant questions have come in. So
Okay.
Rajesh is saying, Akshay, so the form will only open for the product which the customer wants to apply for, like customer wants to apply for car loan or personal loan or home loan, etc.
Correct. Yeah. So for both for customers, whenever you are selecting a particular product, only those forms can be visible. Similarly, for internal processes, we can define teams, and only those teams who belong to that particular product will be accessible to those forms.
Okay, and just two more questions. I suppose we can take them up later or now, but I'm going to read them out anyway. Ashish's
Sure,
question
Shivani.
was, how is the system connected with CIBIL data?
We are getting to that in a bit, so we'll take that a little later. Okay.
Okay, and the last one just for now is Dali says, does this require a new core banking system or you can integrate into existing ones?
We can definitely integrate with an existing core banking system.
Perfect. Let's move on then.
Yeah. Okay, so right, so we were talking of forms and processes that run in the background, and these forms and processes run for both your customer as well, who might experience a form through the application portal that you have developed. That's how they would experience the form. But the forms and process that you set up internally to your own organization is the user screen of basically your call center agent, right? And he might be filling in certain data, and that form is very dynamic, and it enables them to only fill contextual data and not have to search through, let's say, 25 fields to actually just fill in 4 fields, right? So while we're talking about process execution and automation, let's dig a little deeper into this segment of LeadSquared's capabilities. So what does the automation and the process execution of LeadSquared offer to your end customer, right? Now, the end customer is somebody who's filled in a lead online, maybe, dropped in information on his application. He's done it. And after that, what? After that, obviously, within the organization, a lot of processes keep running. But how does your customer know? What is the customer's experience of this entire process that's going on at the back end? So his experience is the updates that he gets, the people who call him and let him know, hey, this is where your application is, or there's an SMS sent out to him or an email. Basically, he's kept updated on the journey of his loan application and the status of the loan application. And that, I think, really impacts the experience that a consumer has while he's going through this process of a loan application journey, right? Now, so how do we enable this rich consumer experience or rich customer experience? We obviously have certain sector specific integrations that we've developed. I spoke about the eKYC process that is already in place with us. So once the application is completed, you obviously run your application through some rejection filters that you might have. Now, these can be very simple rules. These can be certain complicated, automations that you might have built in. It could be based on the data that you actually pull in from certain systems like a CIBIL or Perfios or Karza or some Aadhaar data. It could be various PAN card verifications. It could be various integrations that you have with some of these these bureau companies or these rating companies or these agencies, where the API for these agencies is actually owned by you as a lending organization. Me as a product company, obviously I will not be able to own that API, but you have the ability to own that API, and I will integrate with that API, which is in your name, and provide you with this information and your consumer with the information of all this data, right? So once that is integrated, your entire approval or acceptance or rejection criteria, at least the preliminary criteria for acceptance and rejection, becomes extremely seamless and extremely fast. Therefore, let's assume a scenario where you're getting, thousands of applications. You're able to process them quickly and sort out the really valuable ones very quickly and prioritize and take action on those loan applications. How do we do this? Obviously, we have a very strong automation engine, which I was talking to you about. The automation engine is very code free. It's a drag and drop if else logic builder. Anybody who's a business analyst can actually create multiple automations very easily. We have very API friendly integrations as well, and a very easy to use process automation builder. What all this enables, of course, is a faster execution and turnaround time for the end customer, and also a rich consumer experience, because the customer is constantly updated on where his loan application is currently, which part of the journey is it in. And just a reminder to everyone, we are still at a 0 paper count and a 0 physical meeting count as of now. So just to talk a little more, I was expecting that there would be certain questions around the automated pre-screening that we have. We do this to make sure that only high quality applications enter your lead to prospect funnel and prospect to consumer funnel, to customer funnel. And we do these pre-screening checks through multiple things. I mean, Akshay has already spoken about the OTP verification. We have certain credit checks, like I said, and we will just talk about what this process involves and how it is done in the next slide. Akshay, this is over to you now.
Yeah, Sridhar, thank you. Okay, so once you have access to all the information that you need in a single platform, which is LeadSquared, you can have integrations that can be done for your account. So basically, we have predefined APIs, and we can install these APIs for you with various bureau checks. So basically, below are the listed bureaus that we can integrate with. So we have CIBIL for CIBIL score. We have Karza, that is for PAN validation. We have Experience of Pull. We have the CRIF scoring. We have the EPFO for your employee verification. We have the Hunter. We have Perfios bank statement analyzer. So these are the kind of integrations that we can do with a ready API that are available, public APIs that are available from those companies, and we can get it integrated in LeadSquared so that you have faster loan disbursements at your end.
Yeah, just to add one point here, while a lot of the discussion today is on non-physical or remote processes, from a physical process perspective, we are also integrated, for example, with certain biometric scanners, right? If you want to do Aadhaar verification at some point, we are also integrated with fingerprint scanners at the back end, where it then goes and verifies with your Aadhaar and gives you an Aadhaar verification as well on the spot. Sorry, Akshay, that's it. Please go on.
Absolutely. So all of this you get in a single screen and on a single click, and that too wasting 0 minutes, so that you have the credibility of the customer right away. Okay, moving into the next slide. Here you can configure and define your credit scoring engine as per your choice. So as you can see in this slide, we have taken certain criterias and parameters onto which you can give scoring mechanisms. Now a customer can be bifurcated between his age, the location that he belongs to, or his income, or his CIBIL score, or his sex. So for example, a person, for example, if we are into insurance, and if we are giving out an car insurance from a certain area or a location, then the scoring and the quotation would be something else, and if we are giving out from some other location, it would be something else. So certainly these kind of scoring engines and pricing module can be defined in LeadSquared, which would be of great help.
Yeah,
Moving
Akshay.
into the next, yeah.
Yeah, please go on.
Yeah, moving into the next slide, which is workflow automation. So basically, here once a lead is received from various mediums, so say a call center lead received, we can have automations to distribute the lead, as we have discussed earlier, and as Sridhar said that we can have a great distribution logic on to distribute the leads between a certain team. And once that distribution is done, we can have various notifications using the workflow automation. So once a lead is registered, we can send out SMS and email notifications to him. Now once you send out an email, you're not aware if he has looked into that email and if he has connected or not. So we have an email open notification as well. So as soon as a customer opens up an email, you get notified if he has read and received your email or not. So these are the kind of automations that you will help you to enable and see that if the customer is engaged, if he is interested in your product, and if he is engaged and interested, how soon you can go ahead and pitch him and talk to him about the product that he is wanting. Basis on that, you can have qualification automations. So once you are aware that he's interested, then you can have certain qualification checks that can be run via automations. And if in case you found out that it was just a normal customer and he was just surfing the internet and he was not interested in your product, then you can mark him as rejected. So as soon as you mark him as rejected, then also you can have a certain rejection automations that can be run in the background to notify him, and later on connect after a few time, or say if his credit score was not good or a CIBIL score was not good, then you can maybe connect him back after 6 months or so. So these are the level of customizations and automations that you can run in your account.
Yeah.
Over to you,
Yeah,
Sridhar.
and the beauty of the workflow automations in LeadSquared is it's absolutely codeless. It's code free, right? So you don't need to have any developer ecosystem or an IT expert or a coding expert
Correct.
to actually do this for you. What you need is somebody who understands your organization's business process really well. Once you understand the business process, you just do a drag and drop. We've made it very simple to execute complex automation trees with even 50, 60 nodes. You drag and drop, you create this, and like I've said, you automate, you execute the process. Obviously, you would see some changes that come in. You want to make some improvements, so you automate, you execute, you analyze the results, and then you repeat. Right? You can keep doing this, and I think this offers organizations a brilliant opportunity to really keep refining their processes and keep getting better. And I think it's one of the most powerful things I think in LeadSquared.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. Moving on to customers' lifecycle management, right? So what we've done so far is we've captured the lead, we've engaged the lead, we've spoken to them, we've got them to fill the application form, and we've sent them through an automation cycle. We've done their credit check, and we found that all is good. What do we need to do now? We need to retain this. We need to convert the customer, and we need to retain the customer, right? So a little bit on these two subjects going forward. What's the first? So after all your verification is done and you found out that yes, this guy has a great credit score, and you've decided that you want to lend to this organization or to this individual, you would want to first of all send them an offer, right? You want to let them know, okay, hey, your loan application has been approved, and here's our offer for whatever it is that you were asking for. And can we schedule a verification? Because yes, we've seen all the documents that you've submitted online, but we need to verify these in person as well. Now, this is where something new that LeadSquared has recently done, and this is something that we've partnered with a couple of organizations, and we can execute this now, is the video KYC. I was talking about this, that the RBI has now allowed financial organizations in India to do this. And it is fairly groundbreaking because it removes the need for all that appointment coordination and somebody on the field running around trying to sync up an appointment, go meet a person. He goes there and he figures out that the person has forgotten to bring one document and Xerox copies are not available, etc., etc. Right? So the whole video KYC process has been defined. There are certain rules of engagement and rules of how this has to be executed we have tied up with a couple of organizations, and this can be included in LeadSquared's workflow itself, right? So let's assume that you're in a situation where the person has passed all your verification checks and basic credit score checks. You have made him an offer, and now you have to do verification. The entire verification, scheduling, appointment fixing, all that process obviously continues on LeadSquared through your call center. And the KYC also happens through the call center itself over a video call, right? You have certain ways to do this. If you're interested, you can ping us separately and we can walk you through that entire piece as well. There's a certain way to conduct the video KYC, which kind of replaces in-person verification. Once you've done that, your process is now complete. You can actually disburse a loan to that individual or to that organization. And that's once you've done that, you signed on this person, converted him from a lead to a prospect to a customer, and then you push him into your customer bucket to start monitoring, to start tracking the customer's life cycle and quality over a period of time, and you start seeing and monitoring him for certain cross-sell and upsell engines as well. What is the effort behind all this? Why are we doing this? Is basically to make sure that you are able to increase your customer's lifetime value. Now, for some organizations, it might not be very relevant, but for a lot of organizations with multiple products, a customer's lifetime value is certainly a very important aspect of their portfolio. And with this, as you see, we are still at a paper count of 0, and the physical meetings are still at 0. Right, like I was saying, just to dig down a little deeper into what we were talking about is the automated and personalized quotes. Quote offer making for somebody who's been approved in the system can be completely automatic. You can have certain templates, you can have certain rules set at the back end, and once the verification is done and through the automation, you can trigger a quotation which then reaches your prospect automatically as well. And once that is done, obviously, let's say your loan has been disbursed through your loan disbursal tool or system that you may have, you can start tracking your customer for the customer's quality and engagement. What do I mean by the customer quality and engagement is you can actually even start pushing in information from other enterprise systems that you might have, which lets you know if this customer has been paying his EMIs on time. Has he been making timely payments? Is he still engaging with my emails, for example? Is he still looking at my website? Is he coming and looking at maybe he has a home loan? Is he looking at a car loan now, right? So you continue to track your customer. You continue to score the customer basis, you track your customer and say, okay, what's his quality and what's his engagement been with the organization. This is so that you can then define what kind of a cross-sell and upsell, offer that you want to run with this customer. You might see that the customer is interested in a couple of tools, and therefore you might decide that, hey, if this customer does ABC activities, I will set up an automation which automatically approves him for this product that I have, maybe for a credit card or maybe for a different loan application, a different loan that I might want to offer. And that offer can also be automatically pushed out. Obviously, if you want to make an offer, but the consumer is not meeting certain requirements, maybe it's not an automatic process. There is a different loop which you can create. The system will not send out the offer, but you can actually forward it to an underwriter who will probably review the applicant once again and then either accept and send a manual offer or reject the applicant completely. So that brings us to the end of the loan application journey. We have seen how LeadSquared has been able to help you right from lead capture to finishing your application details, tracking your lead to figure out what they are doing, engaging the lead at the right time through the sales team or through an email or through the call center agents, doing an automated filtering, pulling automated data from, let's say, various sources where you can get certain bureaus and ratings and agencies, and verifications of PAN card or your CIBIL score, etc. Once all of that is done, we've also seen that you can make automated offers. You can schedule a verification online. You can do a video KYC and move a customer from where he was worried to a happy guy who's now been issued a loan that he had come to you asking for. And we're still at a paper count of 0 because there's absolutely no paper that has exchanged hands in this entire process, and no physical meetings have happened, which in the current times that we've been talking about is I think the need of the hour as well. Now, all of this is great. Obviously, if this is a process that has been run at the back end, we need to also have a very strong reporting and analytics engine which runs so that the organization, that is you, know exactly how everybody's performing. And Akshay, you want to take this up?
Yes, definitely, Sridhar. So coming to the reports and the analytics part of LeadSquare, you may move to the next slide, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a complete reporting tool and a reporting structure. So the management obviously would be more worried about as to what is the current progress of all the leads that I have in my system, who all are working to push those leads to to making into a customer. So these are the questions that probably a manager or a management perspective people will have. So we have a complete reporting window wherein you get all the updates with respect to all your leads, to around your activities that are performed against that leads. You can have user wise reports for the users that are working against these leads and performing those activities. You have revenue reports that can be generated. Revenue reports can be mapped with the sources of the leads, from where they have come from. You can have a complete report that is dedicated to a particular team, like what a call center guys, what are the call center guys doing, how many calls that they are picking up, how many are answered, unanswered, missed, went in voicemail. These kind of reports specific to a team can also be pulled up. And there are lots and lots more of reports that are there in the system. So to be very specific around it, we have more than 100 leads out of the box that are there in LeadSquare. So anyone can obviously go ahead and check what are the what are the reports that comes out of LeadSquare. And apart from these leads, we also have something called as dashlets. So we have customized dashlets wherein you can pull in on the dashboard so that you have quick counts related to the data that you are looking at, and you can further drill down into those dashlets to have the detailed view of the report. Okay. Apart from these, we also have something called as smart views, wherein you can apply filters, and you can have this smart views saved on individual level, so that you have a better view of your of the work that you're doing, and of the leads that you're working on. Now, apart from this, we have reports specifically related to campaigns. So for example, you have run a specific campaign and you want to check what was the ROI for that campaign. All those kinds of leads reports can also be viewed in LeadSquare. So we have a complete reporting structure in LeadSquare. Yeah, Sridhar, over to you.
Wow, I mean, 100 plus out of the box reports, and that's pretty, that's huge, Akshay. And also, just to say, just to mention here that we are, like I said, we are a very API driven, integration friendly tool. We're very happy to integrate with any other BI software that you might have out there. And if you want to build certain custom reports, pulling in information from various enterprise systems, LeadSquare is very happy to either participate in that process by sharing information from the platform, or we're very happy to build out these reports within our platform as well.
Absolutely.
Right.
So you can give your customized requirement, and you just have to define what do you want to plot on your X and your Y axis, and we can build we can build a customized report as per the requirements that you have given.
Right. Great.
Yeah, Sridhar.
So that brings us to the final slide of this presentation, and I'd like to summarize again by clearly highlighting the top 5 reasons why we think LeadSquared is trusted by lending organizations. We have a few customers in the space, and why these people trust us, and why we believe that we can actually serve a lot of lending organizations going forward. One is, of course, the fact that LeadSquared has the ability to become a single source of truth in your organization, right? We are a very, very agile, nimble team of people. We are a very agile, nimble software platform which can integrate with multiple multiple enterprise systems. We're happy to do these integrations and happy to make our system very central and very core to your organization. And it can be a single source of truth for the entire organization from a sales and revenue process perspective. LeadSquared is also able to manage the customer's life cycle very well for an organization and track and improve the customer's lifetime value for any organization. Of course, I've already mentioned this, the process design and automation that is possible with LeadSquared and the experimentation that is possible with your organization's processes is phenomenal, and that's something that all our customers, even outside of lending, have really appreciated. Next, we've already spoken about this. We have a very adaptive tool and highly integratable tool. We've already spoken about this, and also we have a complete reporting engine, like we mentioned, 100 plus out of the box, 120 plus out of the box reports, I think today, and also the ability to integrate with other BI tools and become a reporting hub basically for your business. Right, that brings us to the end of our presentation. This is what we had to say about the paperless and contactless lending process that can be executed on LeadSquared. Don't get us wrong, we also have a fantastic mobile application which more than fulfills all the requirements of your field force that you might have, which might kick in maybe not, I presume not in the next quarter or so, but certainly 6-7 months down the line. I think the field forces will be back on fully. So we do have a fantastic mobile application which serves their needs as well, and of course you can very seamlessly move across the call center and the field force as well. But we're not talking about that today because of where we are, and we wanted to show you a process where you can actually get a lead, process the lead, verify the lead, finish all the verifications that you need to do, and actually disburse money without ever having to, look at a piece of paper or actually go and meet the customer. That's all we have to say today. Thank you, and we are now open for questions. So Shibani, if you have any interesting questions that can come our way.
Yes, absolutely, Sridhar. Quite a few actually. So I'm just going to start with Vishal's questions. He says, can the email and SMS be templatized?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely.
Okay, Ashish, I hope your question about connected with CIBIL data was answered. If it wasn't, let us know. You can just mark a follow-up question there. I am moving on to Sandeepan's question. He says, would the processing fee for screening by CIBIL Karza will be borne by us, or you will have it integrated?
Well, this is a commercial model. Ideally, like I mentioned, the license is owned by the organization, by the lending organization, not by a platform provider, because even as per the RBI rules mandated, the license or the API for these bureaus and agencies has to be owned by the NBFC stroke bank stroke any lending organization. So I cannot own it. It's not like I don't want to own it, but I cannot own it as per the guidelines.
All right, Ashish, here's your question. Do you help us get the API access from various agencies?
Yeah, we do provide help and assistance for around this, and if you do not have any contact information, we can help you connect with them.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, Sandeepan's question again. He says, what are the ways of eKYC verification you can offer?
Well, like I mentioned during my presentation as well, what are the ways of eKYC verification? I'm not too sure what you mean here, but there are various documents that, through a partner that we have, we can read various documents. These can be, we can do OCR basically, which means that we can read the cards that are provided on display through a camera or whatever it is. We can identify the number that is provided there. And at the back end, we will of course have all these various integrations, which kind of verifies the document that's in front of us. Apart from this, like I mentioned, for the video KYC as well, we have a partner with whom we work to kind of validate the entire process. So I'm not too sure what you mean. I don't think I've answered your question here, but maybe you can write to us, Sandeepan.
Yes, Sandeepan, Sridhar and the sales email IDs are given on the screen. Do join in there. And just in case, since we're talking about eKYC, we have a webinar coming up on eKYC at the end of the month. So do join us for that. You will get a lot of insights there. Okay, I'm moving to Rajesh's question. He says, forms can be designed in vernacular language as our target market is tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
Yes, I believe we can do vernacular languages, Rajesh. The short answer to that would be yes, but what are the languages that we have? How do we execute it? We can take it offline and have a discussion.
And I think, as my understanding is, we have it in Hindi and Vietnamese, because we did a webinar on this earlier, so I do remember that.
Yes, Hindi
Okay.
I know is available out of the box, but for some of the other regional languages, I'm sure we can do it, but we'll have to look at the opportunity specifically.
Okay. Rajesh has another question. He says, home loans is one of the products where multiple underwriters are there, like bank internal credit, field verification, external legal guy, external technical guy, internal fraud check executive, original property documents vetting. How paperless can a customer go in home loan?
Well, that's is an interesting question. I guess we are looking at it from a lending perspective, but when you talk about these various documents that you're mentioning, for example, a field verification, and if there is a registration documentation to be done, the builder would have certain paperwork. These are things that obviously will reside on hard paper. But from a lending organization's perspective, you do not need to really move files around. You can always have soft copies of these documents which are attached to the process. And that's what we can enable, that at least a lending organization does not add its paperwork to the process that, for example, a builder might have, or the registration, which are typically government offices. They would obviously require certain paperwork. We can't say zero paper to them, but from a lending organization's perspective, at least you will not add a paper. You will hopefully not add any paper to that file.
Okay. Dali's question: do you have any existing banking client in Malaysia?
Well, I think we'll have to connect him to Abhishek to have that conversation.
Okay, okay. All right. So,
Yeah.
Dali, I will connect you to our APAC director of sales in APAC to answer that. Rajesh, your question again, another one from Rajesh. He says, like you have many financial institutions are your client. This lending process module is plug and play.
Well, there are. It can be plug and play. Yes, there are certain elements of a lending organization which are ready-made in our system, but we are yet to come across a customer who's ready to use it as is. Right? Typically, most customers feel that their process is a little different, and it genuinely is. Different customers have a different way of doing business, so there is a little bit of configuration and tinkering around that is required. But we do have certain preset configurations which can enable a lending organization to hit the ground running faster with us.
All right. Veronica, I think I remember you from yesterday. So here's Veronica's question. She says, is call recording option available on the mobile app, and how does it work?
Akshay, do you know this one?
Yeah, the call recording option is available on the mobile app also, and calls that are answered on the phone can also be tracked in LeadSquared.
Yes, indeed. In fact, Veronica, I have a webinar, I think, on the mobile app specifically, so I can share that with you so you get more insights as to what all functionalities the mobile app has. And of course, I'll connect you to someone as well. I am moving to Vinay's question. He says, can this be customized to tractor loans also?
Yeah, absolutely, Vinay. We can do any kind of infrastructure stroke commercial vehicle loans that you would be interested in. Please reach out to us, and I'm sure we'll be able to do this. I understand tractor loans are a little different because it's the whole agriculture sector and there's a farming ecosystem involved here. Yeah, we can certainly have a conversation around this.
Okay, I am moving to Neelam's question. Hi, Neelam. He's the founder of Funds Tiger, also our customer. We
Okay.
still have a webinar pending, actually. So, Neelam, I will get back to you after this. Okay, so he's saying, do you have e-sign integrations too right now?
Akshay, would you know this one?
Not as of now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't have the e-sign integrations as of now. Fine.
Okay, okay. Then Ashish's question, what is the cost of using your system?
Ashish, please connect with us offline, and we'll certainly answer your questions on this. For obvious reasons, we have our MRPs up on the website. You can go to our website and look at our pricing tab to see what the pricing for LeadSquared is. But for your specific use case or for your specific opportunity, please reach out to us, and I'd be happy to have a conversation on this.
All right. Vikas says, how paperless can a lending company go in gold loans?
Okay. That's interesting, because I mean, I'll have to get back to you with an answer on this, because we have evaluated a couple of gold gold loan opportunities, as in opportunities in the gold loan segment as well. But we'll have to get back on this. Shivani, can we connect with Vikas separately to answer this question? Is that fine?
Sure,
I don't have a clear answer today right now.
Sure, definitely. I'm moving to Harshvardhan's question. In case of loans against insurance policy, how can a customer register for a paperless auto pay ECS facility?
Sridhar will have to take this.
Very
Yeah,
specific,
come back on this. Yeah, since this is quite specific, we'll have to connect with him separately for this.
All right. Then Rajesh's question again. He says, "What's TAT for underwriting and offer?"
Well, your turnaround time for underwriting an offer is typically dependent on the organization's process itself. It's not something that I can define as a software provider for the company. Like I said, for doing the basic verifications that are available, they are pretty much instantaneous, right? You upload a certain PAN card or you upload a certain Aadhaar card or whatever it is, it's verified fairly instantaneously. So that piece in your process, which talks about verifying some of the documents that your customer might be providing to you, is fairly instantaneous. But after that, typically underwriting would involve a lot of risk assessments that you have to do and involve multiple processes. You take various factors into consideration while you are underwriting or deciding on whether to lend money to a person or not. That is very internal to the lending organization. It's not something that we can comment on. But some of the inputs required for that process, yes, we can make sure that it reaches as quickly as possible so that the underwriting turnaround time can be faster overall. So I don't have a straightforward answer to your question, Rajesh, because underwriting is not done by LeadSquared. It's done by the organization, by the lending company themselves. So I don't have an answer to this question, to be honest.
All right. And Rajesh was also inquiring about our clients in the financial sectors. If you could just throw some light on some of the customers.
Sure, we have quite a few customers in the financial space. Starting from brokerage and securities firms like Kotak, insurance organizations like Max Bupa, Acco Insurance. We have customers like my God, I'm drawing a complete blank right now. Poonawalla Finance, which is an NBFC organization, and a few other NBFCs and brokerage and securities firms thrown in as well.
Also have Auxilo to add to it.
Please add some names.
Would like to add Auxilo to it.
Yeah, sure. Auxilo, Cubera, Profectus Capital. These are some other organizations who are existing customers of LeadSquared as well.
And anything in banking?
Well, we do have ICICI Bank as an existing customer for a very, very small use case that they are using LeadSquared, and we are still under evaluation with multiple banks. Banks in India have traditionally not looked at a SaaS platform, right? They've been not very, they've been very conservative in terms of moving to a cloud-based platform. They've always traditionally preferred very on-premise solutions, but that has changed since the beginning of January 2020, and a lot of banking organizations are now getting into conversations with not just LeadSquared, with multiple SaaS and cloud organizations which run on the cloud. So yes, we will see. I think we will certainly have banking customers going forward for sure. I think that's definitely going to happen, and we will also, in general, see the banking sector opening itself up to SaaS organizations such as ourselves as well. But currently, we have ICICI Bank for a very small use case as a customer already.
All right. I believe I was getting a notification from Suhas. So Suhas would like to pitch in some of the answers as well. Suhas is our Senior Director of Professional Services. So go ahead, Suhas.
Yeah. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Suhas.
Yeah, hi. So quick answers for a few of the questions. One was the ECS part. So we can integrate with any of the payment gateways, and payment gateway would provide you an option to register for ECS. So that is one of the way. For that, you have to be part of the portal. So we have to build a portal in such a way that customer logs into the portal and registers for ECA, integrating to your payment gateway. And to your answers to other companies that use, we have Aditya Birla Capital, we have Cubera, Profactus, Yellow Bank, Universal, Sompo Singapore, right? Acco General Insurance. So you have multiple BFSI customers in our kitty.
All right.
Thank you,
That's
Suhas.
what I see. Thank you, Suhas.
Thanks, Ross.
I don't see any more questions coming in, so I think that's the end of it. So, guys, as you can see, you've got Sridhar's email ID out there and our sales ID. So do reach out to us. Just to conclude the session, Sridhar, Akshay, if you have any final tips to share with our audience today, please feel free to right away.
No, nothing else from me, Shibani. Just that everybody stay home and stay safe during these times. I guess hopefully there will be a new normal, I guess, in a couple of months. And once business is normal again, I'm sure we'll meet a lot of these people on the call personally as well.
Okay. Thank you. Akshay, anything at all?
No, thanks. Nothing from my end as well. Everyone, please stay safe and stay home.
Perfect. Yes, it was a very, very nice presentation, Akshay, Sridhar. Very comprehensive session, and we're getting a lot of nice comments from the audience as well. And quite a few of you want meetings, so that's great. We will reach out to you. Those of you are asking for the recording and the deck, that will be shared as well. Thank you so much for joining in, and then of course, thanks so much, Suhas, for helping us with some of the questions there. I shall see you all again tomorrow for the insurance session. Don't miss that. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.